I want to be honest with you. It has been a really weird time for me. Like this whole thing, especially with what's happening with Iran. I'm a therapist, I'm a discerning mystic, and I've gotten more connected to my culture now than I ever have been for my 51 years. I was born in America, but most of my family's in Iran. I was born here, but my first language was Farsi. I learned English maybe from age 5, so I just speak Farsi. And I spent half my life hating the fact of being Iranian because we were constantly bullied. I did not like the restrictions that my father had placed on me. I did not have any life. I wasn't allowed to do anything outside of school. I had to come home. I wasn't allowed to be part of any activities. I wanted to be part of drill team. I wasn't allowed to because, I wasn't allowed to do any dance because, if I do a split, then that would affect my virginity. Or like if I'm dancing, I have to dance with a boy. If I'm wearing something short, I wasn't allowed to talk to any boys. I had a curfew of like 10 p.m. at age 25. Yes, I was living at my home because there's no way I could get out. If I left the home, I would have been disowned, which eventually I was for a short period of time. But the independence was not there, and the view of women was not very good. I mean, I tried to learn more about my religion. I actually had gotten kicked out of a mosque before just because I was arguing about why do women have to wear a hijab when they're praying. Well, what's interesting is that my mom is very spiritual, and she was able to explain a lot of the reasoning of the limitations. I mean, why was it that women had to be behind men when praying? And she was right, because during the time, see, the thing is with Muslim religion, the problem is that they haven't tried to advance, because during the time, it made sense, okay? During that time, there were like no walls in the buildings. And so the prayers, you have to bend over. Well, obviously, if a woman is praying to God and she's bending over, she is focused on God, and it makes her vulnerable. So that's why they say, like, when you're praying at the time, to be covered so a man won't come and rape the woman, because that's how savage people were during that time. And so they have the woman behind the men when praying, because the men don't get distracted by looking at the woman's butt, And again, it's for safety. But nowadays, it doesn't apply as much, but it makes sense. But the way that they're doing it is like they put, like the woman has done something wrong. And that wasn't the reason. Initially was to protect women. But when you say, you have to put this on because we're protecting you, that's BS, right? And so understanding that, if you're praying to God, okay? God doesn't care about if you're wearing this or wearing that. Okay, God's not going to be like, you're going to go to hell because you're not wearing, you're not covered. For one thing, hijab is not a definite thing. It's an optional. Prayer, though, they say you should be covered, is out of respect. It's a certain routine that you have to do. You have to also wash your body. You have to do certain thing. That's part of it. I mean, it all makes sense. But knowing all of that, I did not feel connected. I mean, I always felt more comfortable with Americans because even in our culture, there's a lot of competition, a lot of judgment. I had a boyfriend. They treated me like I was a slut. Although, a lot of women would be with men. But, the stuff that they would do so that they wouldn't, not being a virgin was so bad. I mean, there are a lot of women that girls younger, they would have anal sex so that, their virginity will still be intact. But see, these are the things. It's like the purpose and the specific literalness of the religion was a big problem. And I don't know if it's that extreme with other countries. But in Iran, even though we're in America, those rules still apply to us. And that's why it affects us, because the parents, we come in from that kind of mentality. I mean, it came to a point that I was disowned. I was a disgrace because at 25, I had a boyfriend. And in America, I mean, I was trying to connect and be like everybody else. But so, I wasn't attracted to Iranian men. I liked certain things of the culture, music, food, that's it, really. And I was always dating Americans. And I prefer Americans anyways, just because of the men tend to be more appreciative, not as demanding as Iranian men. But there are good men, there are good Iranian men. But what I'm saying is, whatever that happened recently with Iran, I finally understand. I understand why they were so influenced, why they were reacting like that. I mean, you get influenced. I mean, I look at with America. I mean, they're getting influenced by the IRGC. The power that propaganda has now over there. At the time, we didn't have social media, but now it's out of control. And just by hearing things, people are so easily influenced. And now it's I feel for the Iranians, because people don't believe that we've gone through this. They don't believe that we've been under this regime for 47 years. Why? Because they couldn't speak. It's the same thing right now. Right now, Iranians in Iran, they're going through a blackout. Okay? We Iranians outside of Iran, okay, we did not go in exile. Not everybody did. My father was studying, he went to study school, planning to come back to Iran. Okay? So I was born in 1974. So we came out, and it's planning to come back, but that's when the whole revolution happened. So they're we're gonna stay out here. So, but the thing is though, I mean, we were always treated badly. I didn't understand why. Growing up here, being Iranian, either way, okay, everybody else, we got Palestinians, everybody loved Palestinians, which is not a problem, but we've never had support. Everyone always hated us. So even now that we're talking about what's going on, people are yeah, whatever. Yeah, you guys can handle yourself. No. So we're resilient, okay? This is one thing, is we don't expect anybody to help us. So we're kind of different than other countries. And yeah, the Muslim countries did not support us. And I understand why, because of the terrorist regime. But did they do anything about it? No, they didn't. They let it be, right? They just didn't want to mess with us. So they're not helping the Iranians. Right now, thank God, we have support, and the regime is going to change. And it's just bringing out all these feelings for me, because I feel for these people. My God. I mean, I remember growing up here and feeling trapped. And yeah, you get used to it, but you get used to feeling like a prisoner. It's not a good feeling. That's why there's such a high suicide rate. I mean, and so these people deserve that freedom. We take it for granted here in America. And you guys need to pay attention, because the more that you are demanding, and the more unhappy you are. I see with Americans, seriously, I say I am American, but because I know I've experienced oppression, I've experienced certain things, I'm appreciative of what I have, very much. But when you're complaining about, oh, this is oppression, no, it's not. Okay? So you have to follow rules. And so sometimes people need to experience pain, hardship. I mean, not sometimes. That's how we experience. That's how we grow. And I think that, here in America, people need to grow more. Okay? Try to listen to people who've experienced pain. Because later on, when you go through it, then you're oh, but you don't want to go through that. It's better to learn lessons and not have to suffer.